Hey everybody, welcome back to After Hour Idioms, where we talk about cool phrases you can use to spice up your English. Who do we have on the show today?
We've got Teacher Gabe.
Teacher Gabe.
So good to be here
It's so
today.
good to have you on the show. Those are some pretty good moves, man. Did you think about that right now?
I just thought of that just now.
Wow.
I was thinking on my feet.
You were thinking on your feet. Ooh, wow, you really are thinking on your feet. That happens to be our first idiom for the day.
No way.
That's right, thinking on your feet. To make quick decisions and give quick answers.
And quick examples.
And quick examples.
For example, a good soldier needs to be able to think on his feet when he's in a war zone.
That's right. You can't take lots of time to think, what do I do? What do I do? You have to think on your feet.
That's right.
Yeah, or not just a literal war zone, also like the war zone we've been in now for teachers, right? When the pandemic started, maybe the art teacher needed to think on their feet to find ways of keeping their students engaged.
That's right. Good example, David.
Hey, you have another example for us, Gabe?
I got to think on my feet to give you another example, David. That's too fast. Hang on a second. Can I take some time to think about it?
That was perfect.
What?
That was a great example. You had to think on your feet to think up another example, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
It was very good. You know, I have to apologize, though. I know when I bring you on the show, I oftentimes have to ask you to crank out all kinds of different examples, right? You just have to crank them out to produce them in large quantities.
David, your cranking machine broke here, but
You still have to crank.
before we talk about fixing your cranking machine, let's talk about that phrase, because that's a good phrase to know. If you crank something out, that means you're producing something, usually in large amounts, kind of like a machine.
That's
a
right.
machine does.
That's exactly. You have to crank it out. Maybe you've got a lot of work to do, and you need to crank out 3 reports before your big meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, you know, when I was a super sentence man on
yes.
Let's Talk in English,
That's right.
I cranked out 52 episodes a year.
52 episodes a year. That's amazing. You really had to crank that out, man.
It's true. And you know, when I say it like that, it makes it seem like I was just doing it to get it over with and it wasn't fun. Sometimes that's how we use the phrase, to crank out. But just for the record, I had a lot of fun being Super Sentence Man and doing some of those shows, especially with people like you.
Well, listen, I'm sure that they really enjoyed it too, right? Sometimes even though you have to crank something out afterwards, you can kind of sit back, see the finished product and say, hey, that's pretty good.
That is pretty good. Well, we just cranked out 2 new idioms for everybody today.
We sure did. And we also cranked out a bunch of examples on how to use them.
And we got to think on our feet for how to fix this thing, because I don't think it belongs to us.
Let's crank out some solutions. What do we do?
Yeah, that's a good idea. We'll do some river dancing.